Look at this question. A man stands at a window. A man stands at a window 12 meters above the ground. He observes that the angle of elevation of the top of a nearby building is 40 degrees. This is the top of the nearby building. This is the angle of elevation 40 degrees. And the angle of depression of its base is 20 degrees. This is the angle of depression, the base of the building, 20 degrees. The question says we should calculate the height of the nearby building, that's the length of AD. So how do we go about solving this question? The question says we should look for the height of the nearby building is equal to AB plus BD. BD is equal to the distance of the window from the ground, which is 12 meters. Therefore, the height of the building is equal to H, the distance of AB, plus 12 meters. So now what we need to do in this question, we need to look for the value of H. We add the value of H to 12 meters to get the height of the nearby building. So how do we get the value of H? The first thing we need to do to get the value of H, we need to look at the sides of the triangle that is provided. Now, the opposite of the angle of depression is 12 meters. So we can use this value to calculate for the adjacent CB of this triangle. So when we have the value of the adjacent CB, we now use that value to calculate for H using the angle of elevation. So let's see how to do this. To get the value of the adjacent CB, we are going to use the Trig ratio tan 20 degrees is equal to opposite over adjacent, which is 12 over CB. Therefore, CB is equal to 12 over tan 20 degrees. Therefore, the value of CB is equal to 12 all over 0.3640, which is the same thing as CB is equal to 32.97 meters. Therefore, the length of the adjacent is 32.97. So we are going to use this length. We are going to use the length of the adjacent CB to calculate for the length of AB, the length of H. Therefore, to calculate for the length of H, we are still going to apply trigonometric ratio. 40 degrees opposite all over adjacent is tan. To calculate the length of H, we are going to use tan 40 degrees opposite over adjacent is equal to opposite H all over adjacent, which is the length of CB, which is 32.97. Therefore, if we cross multiply, H is equal to 32.97 multiplied by 40 degrees. The value of tan 40 degrees is equal to 0.8. Therefore, the value of H is equal to 27.7 meters. So we have BD, which is the same thing as the distance from the window from the ground, which is equal to 12 meters. We also have AB, which is equal to H, Therefore, the height of the building AD is equal to 39.7 meters. 39.7 meters, the height. Hello, look closely at the question. A helicopter P sights a survivor in the water at point R at an angle of depression of 20 degrees. And the altitude of the helicopter is 400 meters. We are asked to find the slant distance between the helicopter and the survivor. And the slant distance is represented with the letter X. So how do we go about solving this problem? How do we find the slant distance between the helicopter and the survivor? Now, the angle of depression is 20 degrees. The opposite, the side facing the angle of depression, is equal to the altitude of the helicopter, which is 400 meters. And we are asked to look for the hypotenuse of the triangle that is formed. So applying trig ratio to get x, the hypotenuse of this triangle, we are going to use opposite all over hypotenuse. And opposite over hypotenuse is sine 20 degrees, which is equal to 400 all over the slant distance between the helicopter and the survivor, which is x. 400 over x can also be represented as sine 20 degrees over 1 equals to 400 over x. And if we cross multiply, this becomes x, or rather this becomes 400 is equal to x sine 20 degrees. Now we are looking for the value of x. So we want x to be on one side of the sign of equality. So to do that, we are going to divide both sides of the equation with sine 20 degrees. So if we do that, this becomes 400 all over sine 20 degrees, x sine 20 degrees all over sine 20 degrees. Sine 20 degrees will cancel out sine 20 degrees on this side of the equation. Therefore, x is equal to 400 all over sine 400 all over sine 20 degrees. So the value of x is equal to 400 over sine 20 degrees. Sine 20 degrees is equal to 0.3420 approximately. So 400 divided by 0.3420 is 1,196.6 meters. Therefore, the slant distance between the helicopter and the survivor in the water is 1,196.6 meters. Hello, let's solve this question together. In a right angle triangle, the hypotenuse is provided as 12 cm and the acute angle 35 degrees is also provided. The side opposite the acute angle is not provided, so we are asked to look for the length of the side opposite the acute angle. So how do we solve this problem? To solve this problem, let's recall the mnemonic SOH CAH TOA. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tan is opposite over hypotenuse. In the diagram, the hypotenuse is provided. We have to look for the side opposite the acute angle. Therefore, we are going to use the trigonometric ratio sine. Opposite over hypotenuse. Sine 35 degrees is equal to AB all over 12. And this is the same thing as AB is equal to 12 sine 35 degrees. AB is equal to 12 sine 35 degrees. Therefore, AB is equal to 12 times the sine of 35 degrees is 0.5736. AB is equal to 12 multiplied by 0.5736 is 6.88, which is the same thing as 6.9 cm. Therefore, the length of AB is equal to 6.9 cm. Look at this question closely. This is a right angle triangle. The hypotenuse is provided as 20 cm. One acute angle is provided, 50 degrees. The question says that we should look for the adjacent side of the triangle. And the adjacent side is AB. Apply trigonometric ratio. Adjacent, which is the side we are looking for, over the hypotenuse, which is the side that is provided, is equal to cos 50 degrees equal to AB adjacent all over 20, the hypotenuse, the length of the hypotenuse. If we cross multiply, this will give us AB is equal to 20 cos 50 degrees. The value of cos 50 degrees is equal to 0.6428 approximately. 20 multiplied by 0.6428 is approximately 12.9 cm. Therefore, the length of AB, the adjacent side of the right angle triangle, is equal to 12.9 centimeters. A ladder leans against the wall. This is a ladder. The ladder leans against the wall, and the length of the ladder is 5 meters. Now, this is the wall, the vertical wall. The ladder makes an angle of 65 degrees with the ground. The question says we should look for the distance between the point where the ladder touches the wall and the ground, the level ground. So, and that is represented with the letter H. So we have to look for H. Now, so how do we get the value of H? The hypotenuse is provided. The angle that the ladder makes with the ground, 65 degrees, is provided. H is opposite to the angle. So if we apply opposite all over hypotenuse, this becomes sine 65 degrees is equal to H all over 5. Now if I cross multiply, this becomes H is equal to 5 multiplied by sine 65 degrees. Therefore, H is equal to 5 multiplied by sine 65 degrees. The value of sine 65 degrees is equal to 0.9063 approximately. Therefore, H is equal to 5 multiplied by 0.9063, where H is equal to 4.53 meters approximately. Therefore, the distance between the ground and where the ladder touches the wall is equal to 4.53 meters. Look at this question. Triangle ABC. Angles B is equal to 90 degrees. AB is equal to 7 cm. AC is equal to 25 cm. Angle C is not known. So in this question, we have to find the value of angle C. The value of angle C is not provided in the diagram. To get the value of angle C, we are going to use the sides of the right angle triangle that is provided. So AB The side of the triangle opposite to theta is provided. The hypotenuse is also provided. If we apply trig ratio, opposite over hypotenuse is sine theta is equal to 7 over 25, which is approximately 0.28. Theta is equal to arc sine 0.28. The value of arc sine 0.28 is equal to 16.26 approximately. The question says our answer should be in one decimal place. Therefore, theta is equal to 16.3 degrees. Theta is equal to 16.3 degrees.